Hi, everyone. Welcome. It's great to have you all here. Wow. Hi, Penny, Rudrani. Oh, Jess. I'm glad you made it. It's good to see you, man. Barbara. That must be Barbara, the red cloth. Well, it's wonderful to have you here. Um, so, today we're going to talk about the power of devotional chanting. And I would like, so first of all, this workshop will go for about an hour and 15, depending, because I want to leave time for questions at the end and I don't want to cut it short if you have more questions than what I might expect you might have. So, and if you stay until the end, I have a little surprise for you, just a little surprise that I will give you at the end of the workshop. So let's see, what time is it? It's probably time to start. I want to allow a few more seconds just for everyone to be able to make it in. I'm not too sure if everyone's in yet. Probably close. So somebody signed up like literally 10 minutes ago. So hopefully they're able to find their way in here. But wow, it's great to have you all here. I'm just scrolling through your faces. Those of you, hi Penny. Those of you who have camera on,
Hi.
hi. So, just so you know, there will be throughout the workshop, there will be times when I will ask you to, if you have questions. So, if you have any questions at that time, just feel free to unmute yourself and or turn on your camera if you want. You don't have to, but if you want, that's totally fine. And just ask your questions. So it's all good. You don't have to type it in the chat. I think if you feel to, I think it's a lot nicer to actually uh, ask your question verbally. So all right. Well, I think we're probably good to go. And if somebody comes in later, I'll let them in. All right. So, for those of you who might not know me, I don't know if there's anyone in here, but I'm Ramesha. I am a musician. I am a spiritual seeker. I live in a community called Ananda Village. It's in Northern California. Today we don't have smoke, thank God. But it's been very interesting the last few days. So, since the topic of our workshop is how to use chanting as a powerful tool for challenging times, this is actually a perfect challenging time we're in right now to work on this. So, I just a little background. I've been a musician and pretty much a spiritual seeker all my life. I started playing guitar when I was 6. I started taking yoga classes when I was 7 and meditating when I was 11. So it's for some interesting reason. All these things came very early in my life. And so after I moved here, after living in Switzerland the rest of my life, and after being heavy metal and rock singer for a number of years as well. I finally moved here with my wife, and since then we've been focusing exclusively on the music we do at Ananda, which is chanting Swami Kriyananda's songs, and it's been quite a journey to go from that background where I came from to this. But actually, it made me really realize the power of music is much greater than I could have ever thought, because I actually realized that music can be a tool and not just something that you do or listen to for fun. And so this is really a big part of what we're going to talk about today. So, okay, so there's somebody else that's coming in. Just one second. I don't see anybody else waiting. Okay. All right. So, are you ready to start? Because I am going to I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to share a little PowerPoint that will help us go through these important things and not forgetting any. Okay. So, this is I hope you can see this. I think you can. I'm gonna stop my video so it's not too slow. All right. So We're going to talk about, first of all, what chanting is. Chanting has become more mainstream in the last maybe 2 or 3 decades in this country, especially in the United States, mainly because of people like Krishna Das, primarily. He was the one who brought this genre and made it popular. Um, in the 20s, Paramahansa Yogananda, who was then Swami Kriyananda, started also this genre in the country, but it didn't really become too popular because that was not his mission. His mission was to bring a whole body of teachings, but so chanting was part of it, but not the only thing. So, what is chanting? Chanting is usually the repetition of um, few words, but few words that have a deeply spiritual meaning. So when we pray, for example, we use words that are meaningful to us. They may or may not be the official words, like if you're following some church, or there's some prayers that are very specific. But when you pray from your heart, that is what comes to you. And usually it's simple thoughts. You don't go out on for an hour writing an essay in your mind. You just say words that are meaningful to you. And so, but usually, in order to get some, if, to make prayer and chanting effective, we have to repeat them over and over. And why is that? So, first of all, it's not because God is deaf. God is not deaf. Although, believe it or not, there are some cultures and some sects in India who really believe that God is deaf, and this is why they have to yell their prayers out, and they do. I just learned about this a few weeks ago. So anyway, but this is not the case. In fact, it is quite the opposite. Those of you who've experienced prayer in a deep way will know that as you become quieter and quieter and deeper, and I'm talking about not just quieter in the sense that you don't talk, but quieter in the sense that even your body is still, even your breath is still. The more you go into that space, and the more powerful your prayer becomes. uh, we have a little joke going on here at Ananda sometimes that people pray and they pray to God, but then in the background of their minds they're also thinking about, well, what am I going to have for breakfast? And then they're thinking, oh, what am I going to tell this person? Oh, how am I going to work on this project? And so God doesn't really know which thought to answer. Is a little confused because there's so many going on. And so as we are able to calm down and to calm our thoughts, then we start to understand the real meaning of prayer and chanting. So chanting, repeating a chant, repeating a prayer helps us focus our mind, which is what we need to do. There are many traditions that do that. For example, there's a tradition in Eastern Church in Russia where there's a prayer that they repeat, Lord Jesus, have mercy on me. And they repeat this over and over. And it's not because they just want to say it many times. It's just that as they do it, they go deeper and deeper in the meaning of what this is. Okay? So there are three important things. And mind you, this is a lot of information I'm giving you right from the start, but we are going to be chanting together a lot later. So you'll have an opportunity to experience these things yourselves as we go. But I'm just going to give you this background information so that you can use it later, and we'll review the most important things. So don't worry if you don't remember everything. But there are three keys that can make chanting really effective. And the first one you probably guessed is concentration. Concentration is key because if we sing, if we chant or pray with our minds somewhere else, we're not going to go very far. our minds tend to be scattered, as you know, probably. But when we concentrate on the words we're saying, and even as we repeat them, we keep concentrating on them, and we keep understanding consciously what it is that we're saying. We're not just tossing words out. That's what makes chanting really effective. Sometimes, personally, I don't know, when we go to some event like Sunday service here at Ananda, and I arrive and people are already chanting, and I'm trying to catch myself not going into the temple and just chanting along dun, 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 while I'm looking for the chair, looking for the blanket I need to use, and this and that and the other. And I'm really totally mindlessly chanting. I mean, the chanting is just like background radio music at that point. And not that that is bad, but I'm really trying to get away from that. And I'm trying to train myself every time I sit down to chant, I want to be with the chant. So this is very, very important. Then this is not over. The focus of the mind is only one part, but then we have to involve the heart. So what does that mean? It's not just about thoughts, it's most especially about feeling. So, for example, if I'm chanting, and we will in a moment together, if I'm chanting a chant, Lord, I am thine, and I'm saying, Lord, I am thine, okay, I can just think about the meaning of what that means. Oh, that's a nice thought. But if you go deeper and deeper as you repeat it, you'll start to feel that you're offering yourself to God. You're surrendering yourself to God. You're you're looking at your life, you look at your life with all the challenges that you might be facing right now, and you put that completely in God's hands. And so as you repeat, Lord, I am thine, that is what starts to bubble up in your heart. And that is what makes chanting really powerful. It's not just a thought, is involving the heart's feeling. Okay. And so then it goes without saying, the third one is make sure you repeat it enough times. This seems like silly, but sometimes you go to a group meditation and they chant for like 45 seconds. Like I didn't even have a chance to adjust my cushion. So, so um, it takes a little bit of time to get there, most especially when you chant after work, for example, your I don't know you, but my mind tends to be more restless in the evening, in my evening meditation than in my morning meditation, just because all day I've been going, 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 and thinking, thinking. And so it takes a little bit more doing to recollect all that energy and focus it. So make sure that you go long enough until you really feel that you've reached a certain depth in your chanting. So all these together will help you to develop a deeper and deeper devotion and yearning for God's presence. So, what does that mean? It means that as you go deeper with your chant, and we're going to talk more about this later, you start to really feel a response from God. What is a response from God? You will start to feel a sense of peace, a sense of joy. There can be different things that you can be feeling, and we'll go through all of them later. But um, and when you start to feel peace and you realize, or joy, and you realize that it's not coming from anything out there, it's just all of a sudden manifesting itself in your heart, then you know that it comes from inside. And mind you, this is a very real feeling. This is not something that you imagine. This can become so powerful and overwhelming that you start to cry. And when you feel that, then you want more of it. And this is the yearning, because that is God manifesting in you, and you want more of it because it's something that your heart desires more than anything. So when you reach that point, that's when you know that you've really spiritualized. This is a word that Yogananda used, spiritualized the chant, meaning you've sung it enough that the chant has become a bridge that connects you with God. And so every time you'll go back to that chant after that and sing it, you will a lot more quickly and easily reach that same point of connection. Yogananda said that he spiritualized each one of his chants, which means he sang them over and over until he got an answer like that. So he kind of paved the road for all of us when we chant his chants, because we just go through the motions almost of what he did, and we get there and we can really feel the presence. Okay? So as you develop and increase this desire for God in your heart, you will see that not only while you're chanting, but in every situation of life, you will have a much quicker and more readily uh, accessible connection with God. In all the situation of your lives where you need help, you will notice that sometimes you don't even have to ask, and it's there. Why? Because you've worked to develop that connection. It's like when you have a friendship and you become really, really good friends and you help each other in everything. You know when your friend is going through a hard time and you're there for them. You know when they're sad and you're there for them. You know when they're happy and you're there to celebrate with them. And then all of a sudden, one day, you're in a bad mood, not in a bad mood, but you're feeling sad or something really um, traumatic happens to you. And out of the blue, your friend calls you and they say, I don't know why I'm calling you. I just felt to. Why? Because there's that deep connection. Now, imagine how much deeper that can be with God. And when you least expect it, when you need an answer, it will be there because you will have worked on developing this connection. And mind you, I have to keep saying this also to myself. This is a real thing. This is not something that it is almost, I would say, scientific. You do these things and develop this, and then you arrive at that realization that God is nearer than you would have ever thought. So, what does God's response feel like? What is it? you know, in the yoga tradition, we talk about 8 different aspects of God. Okay, so we talk about peace, love, calmness, power, sound, light, wisdom, and there's a one that I forget. Uh, Calmness. There you go. So there's 8 of them, and each one of these are like portals that can bring to us more of God's presence. So if you are praying or meditating or chanting and you feel peace, know that that is actually an answer from God. God doesn't come with a thunderous voice in the clouds. This is how God manifests himself. I keep saying himself, but I could say herself. It doesn't really matter. The language is limited. I'd like to use both at the same time, but I can't. So if you feel God, if you pray to God as a father or as a mother or as a friend, it doesn't really matter. So just for simplicity, I'll keep saying him. Um, and so whatever whatever the answer you feel from God, it's one of these, and it has this feature, which is it's always a calm, centered feeling. If you feel agitated and excited, oh my God, God replied to me, that's probably not a true experience, because the experience of God's presence is always calm and centered. So much so that if you do feel that you got a response and you get excited about it, usually you lose it. It's very interesting because you come out of it and you start to really realize that, oh my God, I lost it. I should have just stayed with it. So so this is the answer is always calm, and it can be something that expands. It starts maybe in your heart, but then it expands throughout your whole body, and you feel it's like thrilling. It's really something that thrills your whole body. And i I just mention this because sometimes people experience this and they don't know what it is, and they don't know if it's a real thing, and it sure is. So, and then one important part is that often this experience, this feeling, lasts for a long time. I remember having experiences of going very deep with chanting or uh, singing music at some concerts in the past, where I remember waking up the next day and just feeling still the same bliss that was there the night before. And I realized that the music really went deep, and it wasn't just a momentary thing. So okay, so now we are going to actually chant together. We're going to do the chant that I was mentioning, um, Lord, I am thine. I'm gonna post the lyrics here, but I'm gonna go back to them. Sorry, I'm gonna post the lyrics here, and so this is a very simple chant. So so that you can, if you don't know it already, you can just focus on the words, but also try to really focus on the feeling behind the words. So go deep with it. Don't be deceived by how simple it is. Just go deep with it. So, for example, in the first part, when you say, Lord, I am thine, like I said earlier, try to feel that you're consciously offering yourself. Every time you say it, feel that there's a conscious offer of your whole being without reservations into God's hands. And in the second part, when you say, be thou mine, try to feel that you're opening your heart, you're being receptive, you're ready to receive whatever God wants to send to you, whether it's what your heart desires in this moment or not. Um, it doesn't matter, but may try to really feel that that is what you're doing. So just 1 second, because I noticed that. Sorry. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. I think somebody might be trying to get in. I'm not sure. Maybe not. Okay. No, we're all good. Okay. All right. So, okay. I'm going to put the lyrics again, and I'm going to. Oh, here. I can. Okay. So, look at the lyrics there if you don't know the chant, and we're going to do it together. And like I said, most important of all, try to really feel. First, concentrate the mind on the words, and then as you go deeper with that, try to really feel the heart involved more and more. And we're going to chant for just a little bit, just long enough to really get a feel for this. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. 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 And let's just sit a moment in the silence, focusing on this feeling of self-offering and of opening our heart to God's presence. Okay. So, um, if any of you wants to share some experience or some questions, this is a good time to ask before we move on to the rest of the workshop.
Ramesha?
Yes.
Hi, it's Rudrani.
Hi, Rudrani. Where are you? I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Oh,
Oh, there you are.
there I am.
There you
Okay.
are.
It says start video, blah, blah, blah.
That's all
Anyway,
right. Hi.
um, hi. Good to see you. That's
Good
one
to
of the
see you
reasons
too.
I came on the webinars because I miss so many of my friends. I'm in
Mm,
Florida, in near Miami, Florida.
that's right. I remember.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, what I feel or what I got from this as I thought about the things that you said was that when I'm saying, Lord, I am thine, it's almost like an affirmation. I am thine. And then the other, be thou mine, is like a request
Hmm.
that what I know and affirm is real, in my
Yeah.
heart. So be thou mine is like a request. I don't know how to say that exactly, but it's
Yeah.
almost like an affirmation and then a request, and then it becomes mine,
Yeah.
and
Well,
you feel close.
thank you. Yeah, that anything that we feel these words mean to us is absolutely valid. There's not one formula. And,
Right.
I'm sure that you could go around 20 people who sing this chant and ask them what they feel, what they think when they sing it. And I'm sure that they will have different uh, takes on it, and this is what makes prayer so very beautiful and personal. It's just like there's not one way only. The most important thing is you being involved and engaged, and you know that, Rudrani, right?
Right.
It's your participation with your whole being. That's the most important thing. So yeah, that's great.
And
Yeah.
I love when I play the harmonium, the vibration from the music helps to bring that into the heart as well.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
This is something that I was going to talk about a little bit later, but since you touched on it, just want to say that um, usually chanting can be more powerful than prayer alone for that very reason that you just mentioned, because prayer is just words, and words are usually, they have to processed by the mind only. But when you add music to it, there's also vibration. And as we know, vibration can go straight, in fact does go straight to the heart, and it kind of bypasses all the thinking, but the heart is touched immediately. So if you go and listen to if you go to listen to a lecture, it takes, I don't know, 20 minutes to really get into the flow of what the person is talking about, and then deciding whether you like it or not. But when you hear a piece of music, it takes just a few seconds, and the vibrations of the music hit you right away, and then it brings a certain response from you. Now, if the music is uplifting and inspiring, and most especially if it was written by somebody who was uplifted and inspired, then the music immediately brings that feeling of expansion and upliftment to you as well. So, uh, so yeah, having an instrument, having and singing, singing, it's definitely very powerful. Thank you, Rudrani. It's great.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. If there's no more, but there will be time later also to ask more questions if you need to. But for now, I'm just going to continue. So, okay, well, let me turn this off so that it's not distracting. So, okay, this is something that I just barely touched on after we chanted, but what should we do after we chant? Because it's not enough to just chant and then jump up and go. Imagine that chanting is like you have a radio and you're looking for a radio station. You know, maybe we don't use radio so much anymore, but you know, if you just go with the dial until you find a radio station, and then when you find the station, what do you normally do? Do you just turn it off and go away? No, you usually listen to the music, right? You listen to the radio station. So chanting is like attuning yourself to that radio station. And what you want to do once you've established that attunement is just stay with it. And so after you chant, it would be a very good idea to deepen that feeling of peace and joy that you might have experienced during the chanting, if the chanting was done well in the way we just talked about together. And then you want just to sit there and expanding on this sense of connection, peace, and joy. So you can sit, meditate. If you want, if it helps, you can continue to repeat the words of the chant mentally, and sometimes that will help you to go even deeper. So just one important distinction that I want to make between feeling and emotion. So when you feel um, excited about something, that it's not necessarily a bad thing. But when it comes to chanting and meditation and prayer, usually, like I said earlier, the feeling that you get is calm, deep. It's just something that you don't want to jump up and talk about it with the next person. You just want to sit there with it and just make it deeper and deeper, because you realize that as soon as you even move, sometimes that feeling can go away. So this is, in the scriptures they say God is a jealous God, and I think that has a lot of meanings. But one of them is this: that when you're talking, when you're in connection with God, don't let anything distract you from Him, because if you allow even you, sometimes even to move a muscle can interrupt that connection, and so this is very very important. So just remember that chanting usually leads to inner communion. It's not in and of itself. Once again, it's not entertainment music. It can be entertaining too. If you go to a kirtan, there's a component of that, but ultimately it should always be leading to inner communion, and so that's what you want to get to. Okay, so Yogananda, who wrote most of the chants that we're going to use today, and also most of the chants that I recorded so far, he was always suggesting chanting with different stages. So the first stage is the one that we did now, which is chanting out loud. This is very important because when you start chanting, you want to put out a good energy to really call your conscious mind to the thoughts that you're putting out. So if you feel restless and you want to chant, I don't recommend you chant mentally, but chant out loud. And like Rudrani was saying, if you have an harmonium or an instrument, go ahead and use that too, and just put it out there, chant out loud. And also chant with the attitude that you're you're not a beggar. You're demanding God's presence. And don't be afraid of having that attitude, because imagine it's like you are going to the ice cream parlor with your dad, and you know your dad is going to buy you ice cream, so you kind of expect it. And so, what dad would take their son or daughter to the ice cream parlor, and then when they get there, they don't buy them anything? That would be foolish. So, you can demand as a child of God that God be there with you. And that's really what God wants, too. So, so just chant with that attitude. Then, as you go deeper, and you may have experienced this even now as we were chanting together, the chanting wants to become quieter. And it becomes quieter because you're going more and more inward. And so the more inward you go, the less involved the body is. Okay, so you start to see that it's not so the body starts to kind of not really close down, shut down, but it's less involved. And then um, as you move more and more inwardly, then the chanting becomes just mental. And mental chanting, when it's done this way, is actually very powerful. In I was reading recently about a Christian saint who she lived in the 1500, and she realized how much more powerful mental prayer was as opposed to outward prayer, which to us seems like, well, duh. Well, back then it wasn't so obvious because nobody, in fact, some people thought that mental prayer was of the devil, you know. So but it's really true that as you move away from involving the body and the more deeply and the deeper you can go into your prayer and chanting. After chanting mentally only, you'll notice that the words start to flow by themselves. And this doesn't mean that you're distracted. It means that the feeling that these words um, evoke in you is more and more present. And so the words become almost like a side dish of what's happening. And you are just with this feeling of peace and joy that the words have awakened in you. And then finally, super conscious chanting. This is when you go so deep in the peace and joy that the chant has awakened in you that you even sometimes stop revolving those words in your mind at all because all that matters is that joy that's left. And so you automatically go into meditation after you finish doing this because it's just so powerful. So, um, in a moment, we will actually, let's do it now. We're going to chant together another one, and I would like to try to chant it this way with you. So we're going to start chanting it loud, and then we're going to whisper, and then we're going to just chant mentally. And then I will guide you to focus on the feeling that this chant brings and try to focus on that more than the words. And then we're gonna end. We're gonna just meditate a few minutes together. So this chant that we're going to do is "Door of My Heart," and I would like for those of you who may not know it, or even if you do know it, this could still be helpful. So this chant has a little bit more words than the other one. So I suggest this is just a suggestion because, like we were saying with Rudrani, you know, everybody has a personal, different way to relate to any chant or prayer. So this is just my suggestion. So the first part, door of my heart, open wide, I keep for thee. So feel that you're opening completely to God and you're just allowing anything that God wants for you to come into you, and especially you allow Him to be your guest. And then, wilt thou come, just for once come to me. So feel that yearning for God to really visit you as a real experience, not just a beautiful thought, but as a real thing, a real experience. And then, will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? So that should really help you create a sense of urgency. You know, time goes, life goes by, and let's try to stay focused on what really matters. So let's just feel this sense of urgency. I want you now. And we will see later how Yogananda actually recommended this chant for when you need to feel God's presence now. Okay. And then night and day, I look for thee night and day, and try to really feel that no matter what you do in your life, you work, you do this, you spend time with friends and family, whatever you do, but behind it all, what you really, really want, your main desire is to have God in your life. And so that this is what you're actually doing all the time behind all those things. So this is just a suggestion to help you not just repeat the words, but also to help you involve the heart more as we chant. So we're going to start chanting aloud and try to really sing out. I mean, unless, you know, somebody next to you might not be happy about that, but try to really chant out loud, and I will guide you through the other parts of the chanting. Okay. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Wilt thou come, wilt thou come, just for once come to me. Wilt thou come, wilt thou come, just for once come to me. Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Night and day, I look for thee night and day. Night and day, night and day, I look for thee night and day. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Wilt thou come, wilt thou come, just for once come to me? Wilt thou come, wilt thou come, just for once come to me? Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Night and day, I look for thee night and day. Night and day, I look for thee night and day. And now, much softer or whispering. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Wilt thou come, wilt thou come, just for once come to me? Wilt thou come, wilt thou come, just for once come to me? Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Night and day, I look for thee night and day. Night and day, I look for thee night and day. Only mentally now, and I will keep playing the notes for you. And now focus on the feelings that these words evoke in your heart, while the words come out almost automatically in your mind, but all mentally. Focus on the feeling in the heart. And now just focus on the feeling of peace and joy in your heart. And there's no need for the notes anymore, but just focus on what this chant has evoked in your heart and try to deepen that. And deepen the yearning for more of this peace, of this joy that you might be feeling. Allow your heart to be nourished by it. Okay. So if anybody has any questions, any anything to share, this is a good time. And then we'll move on to the little bit that's left. No? Okay. That's good. You don't have to. Wonderful. I hope you had the opportunity to go deep with this. Obviously, there's not enough time to really do good. Like you could go on chanting for like 30 minutes more, or even more. It really, if you have the opportunity to go deep with this, just go ahead and do it. It's a wonderful thing to do. Okay, so I am going to uh, close this and then move on to our next one. Okay, so as I mentioned a little bit earlier, Yogananda gave some suggestions for some of these chants, and I will just mention this real briefly. It's not something that we need to go too deep in, but for example, and since these are the chants that we're working on together, um, so for example, he said for um, sorry, just okay, here. So this is one that I was hoping to do, but we don't have time. You will receive the lyrics of this one in the email that you will receive after this workshop. But this is one, I am the bubble, make me the sea. It's one that I actually recorded, so it's in one of my albums. But this is about expansion, so you want to feel expanding uh, beyond the boundaries of the body into God. And the one we just chanted, Door of My Heart, And this is something that you want to chant, like I said earlier, when you feel a really intense need for God's presence. This is it's actually, if you do it with concentration, the way we talked about, you will see the power of this chant. I remember Swami Kriyananda almost exclusively chanted this one every single time, every single event I've been at, and it's just so powerful. And really, there is no end to how deep you can go with a chant, as long as you put the concentration of the mind and the feelings of the heart more and more in it. I just want to keep emphasizing this, because this is what makes chanting really a powerful tool. Otherwise, quite frankly, it can be boring. You're repeating over and over the same old thing, the same melody, the same words, year after year, you know. And this is something that sometimes we struggle with our music here, because if you feel that you're bored about singing one of these, it means that you haven't gone deep in it yet. I'm sorry. It's not about, oh, I want diversion. Yeah, the mind wants diversion. I know that. That's what the ego likes. It's like, oh, this, and oh, and then that, and then the other. But if you take one of these and go really deep with it, really deep, I assure you, you don't feel the need for diversion, because you'll be so blissed out. You just don't want to hear and do anything else. So, oh, the last one that we will do at the end is this one called Pole Star of My Life. And this is, uh, Yogananda says, when you're experiencing failure in business or failure in trying to contact God. And I will talk about this a little bit later, but I thought that this would be a good chant to end our workshop, because I feel that this could be a very good tool at this time to really help us stay focused on what really matters. And we will talk about this in a little bit. So, okay, so on a practical level, how can you use these chants just during the day? This whole workshop is about how to use these chants as a tool. So we talked about how you can spiritualize them, which means setting aside some time in your schedule to actually chant as a means to go deep in yourself and to contact God's presence. But then, on a practical level during the day, what can you do? So one simple thing is just pick one chant that you like and just repeat it throughout the day. As soon as you have as soon as you have a free moment between things, just repeat that chant in your mind. And once again, don't just make it mechanical, but really focus on what it is that you're saying, so that you're actually drawing the presence there with you. During the day, our mind is really full of random thoughts. I don't know if you noticed that, but it tends to be that way. And so, what happens is, if you actually revolve a specific thought in your mind, what that does, it creates like a vortex of positive energy, and eventually that will crowd out all the other thoughts. So don't try to fight the thoughts, but create a magnet of a powerful thought that can actually overpower the other thoughts. And this is a way to stay inspired throughout the day. Another obvious way is to listen to a recording of chants. So put it on repeat so that you can really listen to it. In many of our offices here at Ananda, people play music all the time. Uh, it's beautiful, because you step into the office, and I sometimes I forgot what I was going to talk about to the person in the office, because it's just this beautiful music going on all the time. And it's like, oh, this is so nice. So, and then obviously, uh, oh yeah, so obviously this helps to uplift your vibration, but then obviously use your chant also before prayer and meditation, for the reasons that we talked about, because it really gathers the energy and the concentration into what your prayer session or meditation session is going to be all about. And so just use it. Yogananda used to say chanting is half the battle, which means chant, and then you'll see that what you have to do after in order to go into this deep state will be easier if you do that first. Okay? So, um, I thought that since we talked about listening to a recording of chant, I thought that this would be a good moment for me to do um, my little spiel. So, those of you who don't have my recordings yet, and you will be receiving an email with all this information. So don't feel like you have to write it down or do anything right now. But just so you know, I'm going to offer to you the possibility only until Monday. You'll have this special discount. You can buy any one of my chanting albums for a discount of 15%. And so you will find that in your email with instructions on how to do it. I don't need to go uh, too long with this. But just so you know, I thought that since we're talking about chanting and we're talking about using chanting, those of you who don't play an instrument, or those of you who um, maybe are new to this and don't know how to go about doing it, so this would be a good one. So just uh, you just have to download it and or buy the CD and just put it on and just listen to it. Every single one, CD and downloads, have all the lyrics in them. So this is also a good way to just follow along. But you will also receive in the email a PDF with the lyrics of the chants that we're doing today in this workshop so that you can go back and review it. And by the way, I don't think I told you this, but I'm recording this, so I'm going to send out a replay to you in case you want to watch it again or in case you missed part of it. Uh, so this will be available to you in maybe a few days. I will send it out. Okay, so I just want to go to some final thoughts here that are very important to remember, and maybe some are repetitions of what I just said. But Jesus said, pray believing. And this is how we should approach chanting. We should approach prayer, obviously. We should approach meditation. And when you chant, I just saw the other day a really, really inspiring video of Swami Kriyananda talking about chanting. And he was saying this with a lot of strength. And he was saying, don't approach God as a beggar. Yogananda used to emphasize this. You're a child of God, and don't feel that you have to apologize for asking something of God. It's just, it doesn't work that way. Do you feel you need to apologize for asking your mother or father something? Uh, I don't think so. Or a dear friend? I don't think so. And so just make sure that as you sit down and to pray or chant, just feel that this is what you want and you're asking with a certain strength, not with arrogance by any means, but knowing that it's your birthright. um, so just sit there and you say, if you say, uh, door of my heart, whatever is the chant that you choose, say it with that conviction. And then um, God is the first one who wants to answer your prayer. It's not like he's trying to withhold things from you. Mind you, I'm saying these things to you, but I know I have to say this to myself all the time because I noticed that there seems to be a pervasive feeling in people in general, no matter what spiritual path or they're following or anything. But there's this feeling that I am not worthy, that God, oh, if God cannot possibly want to help me because I am this kind of person or that kind of person. And this is all part of this game of just cutting through that. Don't listen. Those are the thoughts that we should not listen to. I don't know if you notice, there are thoughts in our minds that we'd better listen to, and some others, usually more, that we should not listen to. And so this is one of the thoughts that just put it out, focus on the truth. And the truth is, you are one with God. So God wants to answer you. Okay? And so chant and pray with energy and not like a beggar. These are very important points. And it seems like one of the things that we hear over and over, like a platitude. But if you really sit down and chant with this attitude and with the thought that God wants to answer you, you will feel the answer. It's just not, there's no question about that. So, so just keep that in mind. And so, like I said, I want to end with this chant, Pole Star of My Life, because I feel that more than any other chant I know, this is one that when I feel a little lost, and I know that many of us during this time, sometimes it's, seems like everything out there is conspiring to make us feel lost and uncertain. And so this is a good chant to keep in mind. And so if you, we mentioned earlier about learning one chant and revolving it in your mind. Well, this could be a really good one. It's also very beautiful. And so this is one that you might want to learn and just keep uppermost in your mind and go back to it when you feel that you really need. So this is, yeah, it helps us stay focused on what's eternal as opposed to what's changing all the time. So just, okay. So I am going to put up the lyrics. I'm going to put up the lyrics right now, and we are going to sing it. We are going to do a little bit of a mix of the different practices we've done so far. We're going to start loud, and we're going to really feel the truth of these words that we're saying, and we're going to really make that very strong. And then we're going to sing a little bit softer, and then we're going to end with one time through just mentally. Okay? I have made thee pole star of my life. I have made thee pole star of my life. Though my sea is dark and my stars are gone, though my sea is dark and my stars are gone, still I see the path through thy mercy. Still I see the path through thy mercy. I have made thee pole star of my life. I have made thee pole star of my life. Though my sea is dark and my stars are gone, though my sea is dark and my stars are gone, still I see the path through thy mercy. Still I see the path through thy mercy. I have made thee pole star of my life. I have made thee pole star of my life. Though my sea is dark and my stars are gone, though my sea is dark and my stars are gone, still I see the path through thy mercy. Still I see the path through thy mercy. I have made thee pole star of my life. I have made thee pole star of my life. Though my sea is dark and my stars are gone, though my sea is dark and my stars are gone, still I see the path through thy mercy. Still I see the path through thy mercy. I have made thee pole star of my life. I have made thee pole star of my life. Though my sea is dark and my stars are gone, though my sea is dark and my stars are gone, still I see the path through thy mercy. Still I see the path through thy mercy. I have made thee pole star of my life. I have made thee pole star of my life. Though my sea is dark and my stars are gone, though my sea is dark and my stars are gone, still I see the path through thy mercy. Still I see the path through thy mercy. Just mentally. Still I see the path through thy mercy. 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 And just feel yourself completely safe in God's presence. When you're in that presence, nothing can touch you. Okay, well, thank you all for being here. And please, if you have any questions or anything to share, this would be a good time. Or if you just want
Uh,
to say goodbye.
I just wanted to say thank you. This is Flo
Oh,
from
hi, Flo.
from Ananda, LA. Hi. Um, just wanted to thank you because I know that Yogananda said chanting is half the battle, and I really didn't get what that meant. But I see that chanting really attunes you to God and Guru, And that's, you're halfway there when you're meditating, when you're chanting. It takes you, well, probably more than halfway there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't, 90% of the time I really didn't include chanting in my meditation. And I just kind of used, half the time I would rush through because,
Yeah.
I have to do things or whatever. But and now I see chanting is, it attunes you to God, and it's how important that is before you start your meditation.
Yes.
So and this pole star of my life is like one of my favorite because they there is a group from Hilo, Hawaii,
Uh-huh.
um, that had a little CD that was given to me by Hassam, and
Uh-huh.
yeah, and that's one of my favorite CD, and they're my favorite chanting groups, and so yeah, I really appreciate your workshop today.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much. Yeah, sometimes I sometimes do that too. I tend to treat, if I have limited time for my meditation, I tend to think of, oh, it's preliminary thing. It's expendable, but it's really not. It really helps, like you say, to really go deep and to go deep fast. This is why also um, at Ananda, we emphasize the music so much in general, the music that Swami Kriyananda wrote, which is, really like helping you to stay in tune. People sometimes don't realize that, but it is really not just beautiful music that you enjoy and listen to, which is great. It's that too. But it really helps to stay in tune because it's vibrational. And so the vibration, you receive it almost subliminally, but it really helps you on a deeper level. So,
Thank you, Ramesha. I'm really grateful that you put this on. I had a really challenging week and found myself swirling in the outer world way too much. And I was actually getting kind of depressed, um, which I don't usually do that. So just a reminder of these chants, how important, and I really am grateful. Thank you so much.
oh, you're very welcome. I'm so
It's
glad this was
really
helpful.
uplifted my heart.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. You know, there's just something that I really deeply believe, that sometimes our tendency is, oh, I tried this, now let me try that. And there's nothing
Mhm.
wrong with that, but sometimes what we need to do actually is to go deep with what we already have. And it's just that we sometimes we don't think about it, or we don't know how. But like I said earlier, if you can go deep in even one of these chants,
Mhm.
need anything else. Yeah, isn't that interesting? But we feel like we need other things, and sometimes we do more. We need more than one tool because it's helpful. But in truth, if we could go deep with one thing, would be there, and we wouldn't need anything. So this is something that I try to remind myself, when I feel like, oh, I have to do this, I have to do. No, you just have to do what
Mhm.
you already are doing, just better. and
Exactly. I just
that will
feel
help.
like simplifying is what I need right now because the world is just so unsimplified. There's just too much. I just
Yeah,
feel like I can't take all that in. So, yeah,
yeah.
I'm definitely going to just stick with one or two chants and just go
Wonderful,
deeper and deeper.
wonderful. Oh,
Thank you.
by the way, thank you. I almost forgot, but I wanted to give you, I'm gonna put in the chat this. I promised I would have a little surprise for you. So I have, where is it? How do you do that? Oops. Oh, here. Oh, okay. I am going to put in the chat for you. Um, if I can. Huh. I'm not sure how to do that. I thought I knew. I'm trying to put a document in here, so if somebody knows how to do it, you can tell me. I thought it was pretty clear.
Well, I don't know how to do that, Ramesha, but I do want to put a plug in for your Breeze of Bliss, your CD.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to that at night, sometimes when I can't go to sleep. And I also play it while I'm preparing my food for my son and I. And I'll tell you then, every now and then through the day, I'll hear that, what will they do? You know, the one about when they
Mm,
come to you.
yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter which one. Bubble's always been my favorite, but those thoughts will come to me during the day. So it's an awesome CD, and I thank you for making it, and many more to come, I'm sure.
Thank you, Rudrani. Yeah,
I
you know,
agree.
hmm?
I agree. I have it. I love it.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. I'm glad. You know, Rudrani, you touched on something that actually I meant to talk about and I forgot, which is one of the great things about working on chants this way that we talked about today will make it so that when you find yourself facing some challenging situation, then some particular chant comes to you and it helps. But it's because you have worked on it so deeply and you've gone so deep in it that then it in the moment that you need it, boom, it's there and it's really helping. And so this is yet another perk of working so deeply with chants. You know that um, you're really they become part of you to the point that when you need them, they're there and you have them. So
I had never heard that chant. They have heard your name.
mm, it's not
When?
very known.
No. When was that written? Do you know?
Oh, I don't really know exactly, but it's one of Yogananda's chants, and
Mm.
it's
And then Cosmic Chants?
in the cosmic chants. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and you don't hear it very often, unfortunately, because it's so beautiful, and I don't know why it doesn't get done more. I think maybe because it is more wordy and it's a little harder to remember all the words. Um, I assume I don't know, but
Mm. That's beautiful.
it really is. Um, and I don't know if you read that somewhere because I wrote a post about this, but that was actually the chant that made me want to record the whole album. I had that chant in mind and I just felt like I had to record it. I had to record this chant. So I went to my friend here who does recording, Christian, and I said, I really want to record that chant. And so he helped me. And then as we were working on it, I realized, well, why don't I just record more? Let's just do more. And so more came out and more came out. And then I realized, oh, I have a whole album. But that chant, it's almost like the catalyst for the
Mm.
whole album for some reason. That's what
was a
happened. So
perfect that was a perfect chant. They have heard thy name because for when did it come out? Like right when COVID, right when we got shut down or something like that. And it like it makes you feel compassion.
yeah,
So it's like the perfect chant for right now to feel compassion for
yeah,
everybody.
yeah. You know, it's interesting that you say that, Barbara, because honestly, I was planning to release the album in June, like I did, and then COVID started, and then I started thinking, oh, I don't think I should do this right now. People have other things in mind. It's just not the right time. And then I remember one morning I was meditating and I felt very strongly that, oh, on the quite the opposite. If there's a time that is good for releasing this album is right now. And so I thought, okay. And then interestingly, um, I had a couple of chants in mind to use for a video. So one was Ever New Joy, which I did. The other one was a different chant that I wanted to create a video on. And then, for some very weird reasons, that chant didn't seem to work because I couldn't post it on Facebook. It's like, I won't go into it, but Facebook is weird sometimes. And I'm like, no, 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 I can't use this for a video because then I won't be able to use it on Facebook. So what's the point? So then I thought, oh, they have heard thy name. It kind of makes sense. And so I called my friend here who did the video and I said, no, 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 don't work on that. Work on They Heard Thy Name. And so that's how it came about. And quite honestly, I have never experienced that before in my life. Posting something that really literally goes viral. Like 2 or 3 days later, hundreds of people had shared that video. It's amazing. And these are all people I don't know. But that just goes to show, Barbara, what you were saying, that it was very needed. And in fact, a lot of comments were, this is so needed right now. I'm so glad I found this song. Oh my God. And it's just like, it's still now, I
Hmm.
still get comments like that. So you can really, so I just like, I went with the flow and it worked. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I really like the They Have Heard Thy Name, but I also love the video. And the one part of the video that I really wanted to ask you is that caught my eye was it's like a um, Asian temple in the background, and it's on a high cliff or something.
Hmm.
There are people there. Where was that? Where is that?
I don't know.
No?
That's all
Oh, okay.
footage that my
Oh,
friend put together. I don't really know.
oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, so I could ask him. Maybe he does know.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was a beautiful footage.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah. We have a person here, Bhaktan is his name. He's a very fine videographer, and I gave him the song. I sent him the song and I let him pretty much run with it, you know. I just gave him, oh, no, it's not true actually. I had this in my mind one morning. I was meditating and this whole picture for this song came to me, like this is, it should show people who individually start walking to a pilgrimage destination, and finally they all come together into a temple. But it's not just one temple, it's different temples of different religions, and they all go to pray, you know, and they have heard thy name, and so they have been drawn to that. That was the image I had, and that's all I told him. And he came up with this whole video, and it was so beautiful. I remember when I first saw it, I was like, oh my God, you just gave life to these words, like visual to these words. It's amazing. So he's very, very good. He has really good intuition, and it just did such a good job. So yeah, I will ask him. I'll let you know, Flo. I'll let you know.
Where's that video, Ramesha?
um it's on my Facebook page. It's
Oh,
on, let me see if I quickly find it. It's also on my YouTube channel, but if you go to my Facebook page, you should find it, Rudrani.
oh, okay. Okay, I don't go there very often, sorry.
That's all right. You don't have to.
Well, I could. Probably be good for me.
I still haven't figured out how to attach a file in the chat, unfortunately. I wanted to do that, but it
You can
doesn't
put
work.
it in an email.
I'll send it in an email. Yeah,
Hmm. When in doubt.
when in doubt.
Hey Ramesha, I just wanted to say thanks a lot. This was awesome. I did a meditation this morning, and it shows you how bad my meditation is. This was took me way deeper. Just that
Oh,
feeling of the
wow.
heart. Yeah, it really did. Like that intention that you were saying, the heart. I could feel it. It was really really good.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Jess. Appreciate that. That's great. You know, sometimes all it takes is just go deeper, and just, I don't know, do what you know already and go deeper. Um, I remember when I took meditation teacher training a few years ago, and it was all based on our first meditation technique the first one we learned, which is Hong Sa. And I remember that I felt like I was learning Hong Sa for the first time all over again. And I had been practicing it for 15 years, maybe. So it really shows that sometimes you really need to take some time and say, okay, I'm going to take this time and go deep with this and see where it takes me. Because these tools are powerful and we sometimes underestimate what we have, but they're really, really
Hmm.
powerful. And so each one of them is really like a portal to higher reality. It really is. And so, anyways, you know that I'm preaching to the choir, but all right. Well, thank you so much for being here. it's been a joy, not just presenting this, but also preparing for it. I ended up reading a lot of things and um, really working on my own chanting practice to make it deeper and to actually have something to back up what I'm saying to you. And so it's great. So thank you so much. By now, you should have received that email I was talking about, and I will send another one with the little surprise that I was going to send, which I don't know why I'm not able to do today. And okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Blessings,
Thank you.
and stay safe. Stay centered in what we know is the only thing that is worth staying centered in. Blessings to you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
See ya. Thanks.
Bye.